Today, we're going to work on the last part of our bird line collage. I am going to start by creating a tree branch for my bird to rest on. I am going to draw a large V shape at the end of my paper, and then I'm going to kind of curve that V shape back in, but I'm not going to connect it. I'm going to leave a space, and on one side draw a line that goes all the way to the other side of your long piece of paper. On this side, when I get about halfway, I'm going to put an extra little V. Maybe I'll put 2 or 3 of those little V shapes sticking off of the tree branch. I am now going to use my scissors, and I'm going to carefully cut along the outside edge of my oil pastel line. Try to leave that line on your paper. I am going to use my brown oil pastel to add little squiggle lines of texture. I'm making little curvy lines, not long ones, just little short curvy lines, a little bit of a wave to it to decorate the tree branch and give it a little bit of texture. We can use curvy lines to add texture in our art. So I'm going to clean up my area real quick, and then I'm going to glue my tree branch into my picture. The tree branch should go underneath of the bird. You want to make sure that you put enough glue on the back for the whole tree branch to stick to your paper. The flat side of the tree branch, that's the side that does not have the V shape, should go right up against the edge of your paper. Make sure it's touching the edge of your paper. You want to leave just a little bit of space between your tree branch and your bird. Just a little bit of space. And glue it down, press it, hold it, make sure it sticks. Now I'm ready to move on to the next step. For the next part, I'm going to need a white piece of paper and the lid to my glue stick. I am going to use a pencil to carefully trace around the circle. It's okay if your tracing circle isn't the best. Just do the best you can. And now I'm going to use my scissors to cut it out. So try your best, work carefully and neatly, try to curve the paper to get nice and round as you are cutting out that circle. I am going to use an oil pastel to decorate the eye of my bird. I'm going to use blue, and I'm going to draw a line around the outside of my circle very carefully. And then I'll put a little circle dot in the middle. Now you can use any color you want for the eye of your bird, and you can decorate the eye however you would like to. I'm going to draw that little dot for his eye, and then I'm going to glue it onto the bird. We're only making one eyeball for the bird because the bird is looking from the side. We cannot see both of his eyeballs at the same time because he is looking sideways. So we only need to make one of his eyes. I am now going to get a square piece of purple paper and cut a zigzag through the middle. This can be tricky. Cut it carefully. I have extra paper if you mess up and you need to make a new one. Then on the side that does not have the zigzag, I'm just going to curve the edges and tuck it underneath of my bird. So let's curve the edges on the other one and tuck it underneath of my bird. I am going to put a little bit of glue, and I'm going to try to glue my bird's feet underneath of his body. Just tuck it underneath of there so it's not sticking out. You want the bird's feet to go underneath of the body, and then his feet should also be touching the tree branch. So under the bird's body, but on top of the tree branch. That looks good. Press and hold, make sure it sticks. I am now ready to make the beak for my bird. I'm going to use the white paper that I have left over from making my circle, and I'm going to cut a really large triangle shape. That looks good. Then I'm going to make sure I like the way it looks. Yep, that's going to look good. That's a good size. And I'm going to get an oil pastel, and I'm going to color his beak in orange. I'm choosing orange, but you can choose any color you want. Take your time, color that piece of paper all the way in. Try not to miss any of those spots. Once you have finished coloring in your bird's beak, we are going to glue it onto our picture. Just like the feet, you want the beak to go underneath of the circle. So try to lift up your paper a little bit and slide it under there and glue it so it's coming from underneath of the circle. Press and hold so it sticks. I can also use my oil pastel to outline the shape of the feet, just to give it a little more detail. Now the last step is to draw stars in the sky. I'm going to make a plus sign and an X. So I'm going to make, with any color I want, I'm going to draw a straight up and down line, a plus sign, and then an X. So it's a plus and an X. Once you have covered your paper with stars, you are all done. Clean up your materials, and we are all finished for today.